Apple from Allow. No, literally, I was talking to some of the people on the ninth floor, like, oh, we're like this far apart. That's a taco. They're really a taco. So it's in that
We are
park.
now live.
Voting not to go straight across, but also that.
Hey, Frank.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, sign in, great.
If you plan on speaking, sign it.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Chair with no wheels on.
Oh. Ask them if they start the recording. They start the recording. Yeah, I see.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners on this day of August 21st at 2:02. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Vice Chair Blackman. Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia.
Present.
Commissioner Coleman. Commissioner Forte is excused but plans to join us. Chairman Ihauser is absent and Commissioner Kinlock is excused. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. We do have a revision to the agenda. If you will look under the agenda, item 2024-167, response to We the People has been added under communications. So you'll make that same addition under communications. You have a question?
Madam Chair, I move approval with the suggested changes.
That's, we're deleting the closed session. So with those two amendments.
Approval.
And there was a second by Commissioner Garcia. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by the sign of aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The next item is the approval of minutes of July 17th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Commissioner.
Davis.
I have something, there's a disease that's when I sit in this chair. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by the sign of aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The next item is public comment. And we see we have a number of people here who would like to address the board at this time. So would you please read the statement for public participation? And we have been joined by Commissioner Forte.
To make a comment, if you are in person, please sign the sign-in sheet. Your name will be called and you can proceed to the microphone. If you're online, please raise your hand by using the raise hand icon on your desktop or mobile device. If you are calling into the meeting by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. If you are online or on the phone, after your name is called, IT will give permission to unmute. In order to begin speaking, you will have to unmute yourself. To do so, press the unmute button, which is the microphone icon if you're online, or *6 if you are calling in. As a reminder, you will have a limit of 3 minutes to make your comment. There will be a timer indicating your remaining time. If you're online and make a comment, we kindly request you fill out the comment card link that's located in the chat. By filling out the card, we will have your contact information to follow up appropriately. If you're unable to click the link, please let us know and a phone number will be provided for you to call to provide the needed information. You will only be called upon once. Once the chair closes public comment, there will be no other comments from the public and all attendees will remain muted for the duration of the meeting. On-site comments will go first, followed by online and on the phone. Thank you for your attention.
Very much. I don't have a listing of people who have asked to speak, and I think that's forthcoming. I have Bobby Johnson. Would you please come forth, please? Welcome. Good afternoon.
Of Southfield Freeway and east of Rouge Park. When you guys came out with the basement backup, basement sewer program, in this program, Franklin Park was not included. You included Aviation, Garden View, Plymouth, and 96, which is really just north of our borders. You also did Hubble and Plymouth and Hubble, Paveway, We Care, Fisk, Joy and Schaefer, Warrendale, which is on our other border, and you did Warren Avenue and Bartman Parlin. Franklin Park was left out. When all this flooding started in the area, Franklin Park was the first to go to the news, and our residents were the ones that had the flooding showing. We were not able to be put into the CBGD private sewer plan to help us with our basement. We have people over there that every time it floods, water is coming up. Some of them have damage that has mold in there, and we have seniors that do not have the money to repair their own basements. This is happening on a constant basis, and no one's out there hearing us or giving us any kind of help. We are here. We are here today to tell you we know firsthand how the flooding is affecting us, that we have sent in things and we have had people call, but we've got no response for DWSD or GLW. We are here to let you know that we are residents of the city of Detroit and we're being flooded out of our own homes. We can't even stay in our homes. We have a person that had to actually become homeless and move in with her family because of the flooding. She has over $40,000 worth of damage. And every time it rains in our area, our sewers are up. You can smell the sewers. We have water running over Joy Road. We have water running over West Chicago and on Evergreen. But we are not getting any help because we're not an influential area like Aviation that has people like Alicia Bell and people staying there. We're not getting that kind of help. We're here today to let you know that we want that kind of help and we need help in Franklin Park. Thank you.
Son. I suspect that there are going to be others who are speaking to this same community. So I will ask Mr. Smalley to hold his comments until after we've heard from everyone. But just let me assure you that we don't look upon any community as better than any other. All of our customers are important to us. All of your needs are important to us. So I can understand how you might feel, but that's not the way this board operates or this department. The next name I have is Taishay McIntyre, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Would you please come forward?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm complaining about my basement and also the water flood that I had, the last big water flood that flooded my basement and my front yard. It was a mess. I have an autistic son and I'm 75, I'll be on Labor Day. We come out and we had to rake it and clean it up to get it to even go down. And the trees that I asked for them to cut down in the front of my house would help save some of that. When the trees come down and they come into my sewage and it stinks, it's nasty. This needs to be clean. I've been in my house 48 years, and as long as I've been there, I only seen the water board come out and clean the drains maybe 2 times, and that's it. I've been in my house a long time. I would appreciate if we can get some service. You can look up my water bill. I've never been late on it, never been nothing. I always pay it honestly. And I would appreciate, this is why I'm here. That sewage thing, it stinks when I come out. Even if I'm in the yard, it smells terrible. I'm only asking that y'all do us like we do you. I do pay the bill, so I would like better service. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and we will be addressing them later on. The next name I have is Gwendolyn Jones.
Thanks for taking my call. My complaint is we do always have backup flooding.
So we can adjust the microphone. Okay. Thank you. What is your name again?
Jones. I'm with the Street Block Club and also the Franklin Park Community Association. I recently retired in 2017. I'm 73. I've been living in my house for over 29 years. And I'm complaining about the extra costs that seems to keep adding up. I retired, but now I'm being told I have to pay for $7 a month for sewer protection from my home to that. And then you got to do it for your household items. I mean, and then you also have to pay for water that comes down off of your roof. Like on my driveway, I just had my backyard paved, concrete, and now that's going to be extra money. I feel like it's too much extra cost being put on the citizens of Detroit with a medium income between 25, 30,000. And this extra cost is being added. And I don't think that we should have to pay. That should be on our backs. I think the city should be able to come up with a plan with extra money to get those, to take some of this off the seniors, off of the people who have homes. It's hard enough trying to keep your house in order to worry about sewer pipes, and things like that. We didn't plan it. We didn't put all those pipes and things down there. I know it's controversy, this and that or whatever, but it's too much extra cost on seniors that's preventing them to live a better life than what they should. And that's what this election is about, trying to help seniors live a better life and relieve a lot of costs. And I think the city should be doing that as well. Thank you.
Jones. Next I have Angie Sierra, I can't read this, I'm sorry, Reynolds? Would you help me with the last name? Reynoso, thank you. You're gonna have to print for me next time. Thank you.
Okay, is it unmuted already? Okay, hi. I am Angie Sierra, local realtor, investor, property manager, among other things. I am underdressed today because I was not expecting to be here. I found out this morning, apparently that I was scammed by a Detroit Water and Sewage Department employee. I purchased the property from the land bank approximately 2 years ago. I have been rehabbing it slowly. Last year, they came out to turn on the water. The employee called me and let me know that there was no water line and that he could install a new water line for $8,000. So I said, okay, because when I purchased the property from the land bank website clearly states that there's a possibility that there may not be a water line and that it costs thousands of dollars to repair one. So I kind of knew this was a possibility. I had no reason to think anything was wrong. To my understanding, the water had been on up until this point. But when my contractors went to do the bathrooms, last week, they reached out to me and told me there was no water. So I was confused. I called the water company. First, they tell me I have a water bill of about $1,300, while simultaneously confirming that there is no water at the property. So that in itself didn't make any sense. Then she said it was an estimate. She wanted to put me on a payment plan, which I didn't agree to. I'm not going to go on a payment plan for a $1,300 bill for water that has never been consumed. At one point in that conversation, and I would love if you guys can pull these calls, it's 11822 Woodhorn Street, Detroit 48205. At one point, she said that the bill was an estimate just for the home existing on the property. So even though there was no water, that the estimate was what it was. Regardless, this afternoon, the tech comes out from your company and he turns on the water. He steps outside of the home. I hear the water splashing. He was getting ready to leave. He didn't even notice. I go out and I tell him that the basement is flooding. So he comes back in and he's like, well, that shouldn't be happening. When he comes in, he tells me that the water line is broken. And I'm like, how is the water line broken? You guys installed it last year. I paid $8,000 and it should be working. So he calls, talks to the team lead. The team lead says there's no record of anything being done, that the only record there is of a stop box. So at this point, I would love to get the police involved and file a police report and, you know, sue if I have to sue, but I can't even speak to anyone in person, which is very frustrating. I didn't know up until today that there are no offices where you can speak to a human being. So I was on the phone with them over an hour. I'm waiting on a call back from a supervisor. I would love if we could have in-person offices, and I would love if this investigation could be expedited as well. Thank you.
Mr. Smalley, is there someone who can speak to this customer while she's here today?
Yes. Chair, I'm having security come up right now. We'd like to get a complete statement.
Security and customer service also?
Yes.
Very much. Is right,
Again,
just behind you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Much. The next name I see is Election Integrity. I can't, Newburn on the watch. Election Integrity. Is there someone signed as Election Integrity? Okay, we'll move on and perhaps that person will identify themselves later. Is Patricia
yeah, this is the gentleman right here.
forward, sir, and give us your name? Can you see? Here I am. I'm short.
Okay, my name is Reuben James Crowley Jr. I'm appearing as election integrity rule. Now, two things. First thing, this waterfall drainage fee. It's really disguised tax. I don't know how we can be charged for an act of God. If we want to put some water down, and it is gonna happen. Now, that's the main thing I came down here to speak about, but then now that I'm here, I might as well tell y'all, they've been cheating in Detroit elections over at the Department of Elections, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2024, as far as I can prove right now, they're using absentee ballots. We got a matter of Detroit voter trap houses and absentee ballot voter fraud happening in Detroit, rampant and pervasive. Gina Avery Walker, Director of the Department of Elections and Detroit City Clerk and Chairperson of the Detroit Election Commission, Janice M. Winfrey, is cold, blue-handed busted, not red-handed, blue-handed busted, using fraudulent absentee ballots. They cast the absentee ballot in the name of a gentleman who has never ever voted in a Detroit election. He ain't never voted in no election nowhere. Never registered to vote, period. And they're trying to say at the age of 47, he went into a satellite election office and voted absentee, requested an absentee ballot there, subsequently sent it in. And then there's the case of Mary Elaine Beckman, 12842 Sussex Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48227 is a voter trap house. Mary Elaine Beckman, according to the report done by Janice Winfrey, is an overseas citizen voting in Germany, from Germany, voting in Detroit elections. They say that they sent out a ballot on 2/14 of 2024, and they received it back in 2/26 of 2024, except for there's one major problem. You can't send nothing to Germany and get it back from Germany in those 12 days. Now, the ballot was flagged as undeliverable by the United States Postal Service, and they sent it out on the 14th, 2/14, so that would take about 3 days for them to flag it and send it back. And then they would had to have sent it to Germany to get Mary Elaine's Beckman's signature on it, and that's impossible. You ever send anything to Germany, you know you can't send nothing to Germany and get it back in those 12 days, let alone 9 days. Yeah.
If you'll pardon me, sir, we have nothing to do with elections.
Whatever I want to talk about.
You may talk about whatever you want to, as long as it relates to the the water department business, sir.
Rainfall, drainage speed, rainwater drainage speed is poppycock.
Absolutely. We're certainly can address your drainage questions or give you an answer to that, but that's the only thing that really relates to this board meeting. But public comment is for things to do with the. Yes, sir. You?
Okay, so you can't censor me on my public comments.
So, thank you.
I didn't say nothing inappropriate.
You did not.
Well, we're not, I'm telling the truth. I'm gonna take an election. It's the truth.
Next name I have is Patricia Morton. Is Patricia Morton here? Welcome, Ms. Morton.
The reason why I'm here, I'm a retiree. I retired in 2010. I took my life savings to remodel my home, and it has been washed out from the bottom to the midway of the top of the steps to go into the main portion of my house. I lost everything. I had fixed my basement up for my grandchildren and myself to have extra space. I now have nothing. Every time it rains, I have raw sewage in my basement. Flies, poop, and sewer water in my basement. I've lost washers, dryers, stove, refrigerators, furnace, everything out of my house. And I keep getting these claim forms to fill out from the city, see what can be done or if I can get any help. Yes, FEMA did help me the first time, but it's didn't happen 3 times. I've had my backyard dug up 3 times. And I still don't have a resolution to what's going to be done for that. Now, on the 16th of July, I had so much poop in my basement that I had to weigh my way down there to use the water hose to push that sewage back down to drain. Well, before daylight came, it was back again. I mean, raw sewage. I have pictures. I have the whole thing on video. I did the claim forms and everything to get some help. And I get a letter telling me that the city is not responsible, and they give me this person, Mr. Riggs' number, that, you know, that he's responsible for this. Well, I don't know what to do anymore. I've been in my house over 40 years, and I've been a resident of the city of Detroit my whole life. Okay, but my house is paid for. I owe no taxes, I owe nothing. But I got this sewage in my basement. I need some help. I don't know who gonna help me or who can help me, but I need some help. And I don't want to be rude or any of that, but a lot of you don't know what it's like to live with sewage, raw sewage in your house. I got it.
Set on anyone. So is there someone who can talk to this customer while she's here today?
Yes, Madam Chair. And I'd also like to point out that we highly encourage our customers to have their sewer laterals cleaned by a plumber that snakes all the way to the point of connect. Yes, ma'am. That snakes all the way to the point of connection to the public main. And it's also highly advisable to have it scoped or videoed. And we will be absolutely happy to take a look at those videos from the plumber.
That the plumber do the video, not the department.
Laterals are just as old as the public sewer mains, which are now over 100 years old. We're cleaning over 600 miles of sewer this year. We're at about 450 so far this year. We've also cleaned almost 5,000 catch basins with a goal to clean 8,000. So we are we have significantly ramped up our efforts, but the same level of care needs to be taken for the private portion of the lateral that goes from the house all the way up to the point of connection. And if you give us a video, we'll be happy to look at it free of charge. I even offer a second opinion. We do not video the private laterals unless it's part of the basement backup protection program or the private sewer lateral. So we'll be happy to take a look, and I'd like to see a copy of that letter, and maybe we can provide some additional assistance.
So are we referring to her? Someone is here to see her right now. At the back of the room, there's someone who's going to talk with you, ma'am. You're very welcome. Thank you. And we wish you well. Okay. The next name I have is Rita Johnson. Good afternoon, Ms. Johnson.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please.
I live at 9390 Piedmont Street, 48228. I'm part of Franklin Park Association. Everything the gentleman had just said to us, we have done more than once. We had our sewer lines snaked out. We had video. Matter of fact, I had a video done, and the company, which was a sewer insurance company, wouldn't even give me the video because I was trying to keep it for my own proof, but I have a lot of paperwork. First of all, it's a sinkhole coming from the sewer in front of my house. It's about this deep now. When the trucks come by and start driving by, or trailers, cars, is shaking the foundation of my house, and it's getting worse. It sounds like you're sitting in the kitchen. It sounds like somebody trying to knock your front door in. So that's how kind of much vibration it is. And the person directly across the street from me is feeling the same vibration. That is going to mess with our foundation of our house. I have been complaining about it, and my neighbors have been complaining about it for me for about a year or a year and a half now, and nothing has been done. They'll come out, put a little bit of tar down, and you should see it. No one's came by to even take pictures of it yet. Okay, then I'm gonna move on to flooding. I don't see why we were one of the first people to complain to the city of Detroit about our flooding back in 2019. It still continued on 2020, 2021, up until now. I had remodeled my basement. I had lost over $20,000 worth of stuff, and I have receipts and everything. And like I said, I had the video. The plumber wouldn't give me their video. They want to keep it for themselves, and I asked for it more than once. Okay, it's still flooding in our area. We need the CDBG private sewer repair program right away, because we was the first ones to, a lot of us, to lose those thousands of dollars. I had paid to fix my sewer line. It was paid and it was fixed, and it's still it's coming from the city line. Now, I know they like to say, oh, the city line is clear, but it's coming from the city line because what was coming through was stuff I never have used. I never broke a bone. I never had casts. I never had blue ace bandages, baby wipes, and diapers. I'm a senior. Okay, so they have cleaned our sewers. I've had sewers snaked, replaced, inspected. They came out and cleaned the sewers 2 times. We still getting water backups in our basement. And we're begging you to please put us in priority for the CDBG private sewer program. We need it very bad. And we have a sewer smell in our whole 48228 area. I'm sorry. We have a smell that's coming out of the main sewer lines. You can't even sit on your porch. Yesterday, somebody from the tree company from the city came out and you smelled like it was a toilet. Everybody noticed it, and it's all in the whole area coming up through our sewer lines. And the water affordability plan, I went to Wayne Metro to sign up for it, and I signed up for it in April. No reply back. I have no reply back from them at all. I'm still paying a regular water bill. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry I went over my time.
For your comments, and we will have someone talk with you today before you leave. Customer service representatives here. Thank you. And I certainly feel your frustration. The next name I have is Gladys Perkins. No, I'm sorry. Daniel, I cannot, is it Harper or Hayner?
Madam Chair, I'm going to speak on behalf of Daniel
His last name?
Hayner, right?
Okay.
Read what he is stating to the Board of Water Commissioners. My name is Daniel Hayner. I'm from Detroit Sewer Company. I've been doing sewer work for a long time. I'm here to tell from my view and deal with hundreds of customers who are frustrated with DWSD who refuse to clean lines properly. There was massive roots in the line that can be the size of humans easily. They are rushing to clean lines that didn't really solve long-term issues. When they show up, they look at the manhole and see little flowing, everything is fine. Said it, your private line is what causes flooding in your basement during heavy pour. But there was evidence with the city manholes, water spewing out of it. So those customers contact me to investigate their private line and city lines. Their private lines aren't bad from what I've seen with the camera, but when I checked the city manhole with a manhole pull camera, there's only 1 to 2 gap to, oh, I missed it. 1 to 2 inch gap to flowing and 15 to 20 inches of clay that contributes to flooding in residential basements. But when I observe Eric Charles, an inspector for DWSD and crew cleaning line, they did to just wasting tons of time. They make a report that wasn't true compared to what I saw with my own eyes. Why wasn't they cleaning from end to end of the line that can be up to 1,600 to 1,800 feet, but they were more focused on one section, 100 to 300 feet. Like that was the whole problem. But when the whole line looks halfway with sediment and roots, as they did jet opposite of flowing that caused tons of sediment to fill other side of line when they could follow flowing path. Sediment to restrict flowing during heavy storm. They refuse to clean whole lines and customers are fed up trying to ask them to clear, but they wouldn't show up at all. When they contacted me, they were desperate. I went out of my way to help them clean the line. I was very disappointed to see how much sediment and roots was in the line, came out of it. It caused thousands of dollars of damage to customers' basements and stores and plaza apartments. Once I clear the lines, they no longer have flood problem. If your DWSD sewer cleaning department could have done better job as I did, they just poke open tiny hole, think they actually clear the line perfect, but wouldn't camera it. It costs tons of tax money for their incomplete poor work when they could have cleared whole line if it would have been flowing better during heavy surge storm, tons of water could go through it. That's the end of his statement.
Thank you very much. I see our customer service director standing by. I don't know if he wants to talk to Mr. Hayner or refer him to someone else who can further investigate what his concerns are. Did you wish to make a comment, Mr. Phillips?
Just on behalf of Daniel. So I've been working with Daniel and several advocates that work with him. So I just wanted to let the board know that as early as this morning, Mr. Smalley and myself both have reviewed video and footage of the sewer main. And so we're working with Daniel as we speak. So we'll continue that, and I will continue to advocate on Daniel's behalf.
Here, because his concerns are quite disturbing. Mr. Smalley.
Madam Chair, I just want to clarify a couple points. We are cleaning as part of our preventive maintenance. That's where we clean the entire line. We also have pole cameras, very high resolution 4K cameras that allow us to see hundreds of feet into the main. There's a difference between doing a preventive maintenance cleaning where we clean the entire line versus an emergency sewer cleaning and rotting. If somebody has water in their basement, our goal is to get that sewer, and if the public main is not flowing properly, our goal is to get it opened as quickly as possible to allow relief for the affected customer. So there are two different types of cleaning that we do. One is preventive maintenance, which is comprehensive. We take photographs of that to ensure that us or our contractors are doing a quality job. But there's also the emergency sewer cleaning, rotting, just reestablishing flow temporarily until we can get a more comprehensive clean done.
What does that mean for the customer?
Well, we try to get the emergency sewer cleaning and rotting done right away, as quickly as we possibly can, hopefully within 24 hours.
Looking for a time frame.
An up or obstructed sewer is one of the highest evolutions that we have. That is one of the top priorities for our maintenance and repair men and women.
And you've referred this customer to someone just now in customer service? Or you've been working with him, you've said that.
For weeks. I've been to his house personally. And so I just spoke with them through assistance. As early as this morning. So yes, I'm
We're on top of the issue, okay,
what's happening.
and working to resolve it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Letter will be happy to respond.
Thank you, and we're going to get a copy of the letter.
I have
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. The next name on the list is Gladys Perkins. And as a reminder, we do have a 3-minute time limit for our customer concerns, or at least for them to raise the issue. Welcome.
My name is Gladys Perkins. I am a member of Franklin Park. I've been in my residence for 24 years. My complaint is about my basement backing up, mold coming in. It's basically the same thing in our area, 48228. The sewer smells, and there are things that should be done that haven't been taken care of. This is my complaint. Basically the same as everyone else. Thank you.
We are working on resolving that for you. Thank you so much for your comment. The next name is Christian. Is that correct? Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, Christine Bond.
Good afternoon. My name is Christine Bond. I live at 9383 Piedmont, Detroit, 48228. I'm having basically the same problems that everyone else is having. Back in January of this year, I had a terrible basement flooded. I lost everything in my basement, which I have not been able to replace. Fortunately, I was able to replace a new furnace that my husband and I had purchased about 4 months before the flooding occurred. I lost my dryer, the washer, hot water heater, which was basically brand new. And I received a claim letter saying I was denied because I did not qualify for any of the things that are on this list that are stated. Also, FEMA did come out and I did receive a small amount of money from them, which did help a little bit. I have pictures of the repairs that were patched up on the street. And just about 2 weeks ago, another truck came through and they did a patch job. It's a sinkhole there on Piedmont. We're still having flooded each time that it rains, and we're still smelling the sewage. It's just so unsafe and unhealthy for the people in the 48228 area code. Most of the people in the area are retired. I am a retiree. My husband also a retiree. And we need help. We need help. We need help, and we need help soon. Thank you.
I think you're addressing the right people who will make sure you get that help. Thank you. I have is Felicia Pickett. Is Felicia Pickett here? Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. Bear with me. Good afternoon. I am Felicia Pickett, a resident of Foss Avenue, District 7, a Detroit citizen in the state of Michigan in the U.S., where taxpayers deserve and should receive state, city, and federal services with ease, especially the flow of clean water. My home is over 80 years old and sewer lines have deteriorated. This is an issue my local, state, federal, and government are aware of needed upgrades, yet I am currently homeless because I can't get assistance in connecting my basic right to city services through DWSD or the Water Authority. I'm in an area where repairs have been identified and funds allocated, and I have applied, yet no repairs, just continuously being told to call another group, agency, or office to resolve the DWSD or city's burdens to prove assistance to replace the deteriorating pipelines that are affecting a whole sewer infrastructure in neighborhoods just like mine and yours. I'm asking for clarity on how these two programs are handled and ran in the city. The first one is the city DWSD Basement Backup Protection Plan, and the second one is the city's CDBGRDR Private Sewer Repair Program. Clarity on these programs are needed and what they are identified as, and how do you qualify as a citizen? Technically, I qualify, but I have gotten no relief. I'm also asking for the names of these programs technically so I can do further research to figure out exactly where the funds are going and who is receiving the benefits of the repairs that are at hand that they say that are needed and are underway and have already begun in some areas. We need information on who is eligible and how the eligible residents are being notified. Are these funds exhausted? How many houses were repaired or will be repaired? I'm requesting a timeline from application to completion of repairs. There needs to be a receipt or file number that your complaint or request for replacement of these lines was submitted by a resident to the city. There needs to be a plan to reimburse citizens who must upgrade at their expense their private sewer lines for safety and sanitary issues to be eliminated. As a citizen, I am doing my part. As a homeowner, I'm asking for my local, city, federal government to make residents whole and fix or reimburse for the lines for the legitimate life and safety repairs. We need accountability from our government step by step as to the dollars that have been allocated for this area that are being used and utilized for this area. My children were supposed to come today, but I left them because I didn't know exactly what my state of mind would be. But they are watching their home crumble under them We are displaced and going from place to place. My total estimate repairs, including sewer line replacement, mold remediation, to get back in my home is $25,000 to $50,000. That's a substantial burden for a disabled mother of 3 elementary school students. I'm asking for assistance as a citizen, as a taxpayer, to resolve these plumbing and sewer issues. Not a handout, but a solution, a resolution to those who are homeowners and taxpayers like myself in this area and neighboring areas who have been greatly affected by this issue. I too have lost all of my things in my basement. My children have lost their things. They have lost their friends. They have lost the ease of coming home from school and knowing that they can play with their friends because they're not at home. They are constantly asking to go home.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have exceeded your time, but we certainly hear you very clearly, and someone will be talking with you today.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
For coming. No more petitions. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board at this time? Seeing no one, there's someone else? Oh, do we have any virtual comments?
Mr. Peckinpah, do we allow virtual comments during the board meeting?
We have some virtual people.
Madam Chair, the first virtual commenter is Tamara Johns. Yes.
Welcome, Ms. Johns.
Hi there, thanks for having me. We live at 4265 Seminole Street, and we have had issues with a sinkhole in our alley for many years. We've had the water department come out and put A-frames over the hole, and the signs just continually get swallowed up until we call again and try to get a new sign put over it, but no resolution. And this past March and April, we had sewage back up in our basement. And when we had it cameraed and scoped and everything, the plumber hit where the city line is and said that you have an issue with the city, you need to contact them. We have been in contact with them. It's been very slow going. I have children in this home. We can't shower, we can't cook, we can't do all the flushing of toilets, all the things that need to happen on a daily basis. And I have recently been in touch with Brian Peckinpah, and he is looking into coming out here to meet with us. But I will say this is absolutely ridiculous that we've had to continuously deal with this for so many years. And now our plumbing line has an issue because this hole has gotten so much bigger. And now our line is collapsing, and now they're telling us it's our issue when it was never our issue. We have a garage kitty corner from us that has a sinkhole that I could stand up in underneath it. Like, there is a problem of infrastructure out here that needs to be addressed before homes end up falling in a hole. I'm not sure what else to do, but this is not okay.
Ms. Johns, you have made your petition to the board, and you will be hearing from the department. So we're sorry that you're having all these problems, and we're certainly sorry to hear all of the things that our customers are going through in this area. But we are working to address them just as quickly as we can. We do have, again, a number of people addressing the area the problems in your area, and you will be hearing from the department. You did place you talked with Mr. Peckinpah already. He's aware of it, and you will be getting a response from the department. Calling in. Is there anyone else online?
Madam Chair, we have several people online with their hands raised. The next one is Cecily McClellan.
Ms. McCullough, how are you? Please unmute yourself and give us your petition. Ms. McCullough?
Yes, Ms. McClellan.
Yes,
Thank you
please.
very much. Yes, that's
Welcome.
with we the people of Detroit. I'd like to thank Mr. Matthew Phillips for the response to our letter from July 11th. It's a very detailed response to all the areas that we addressed as concern, and also for the disaggregated data that was supplied. We really appreciate DWSD staff taking the time, to prepare this information. It will be extremely helpful in our efforts to provide services to Detroit residents. There is one area that I would like to address, and it is the recertification process. Unlike, the Easy Pay program, which recently you did have insert in the bills, which is very helpful. DWSD certifies, or in essence registered the citizens for that program. The Detroit Lifeline will have to be certified by Wayne Metro. There are probably over 25,000 persons that are now enrolled in Lifeline. October the 1st is probably a little less than 6 weeks away, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be even possible to recertify all those persons by October the 1st. So my concern is there going to be some type of delayed period until the end of the year for persons to be recertified into the Lifeline program? And will there be some notification alerting all customers that they'll need to be recertified? We have spoken with customers that are not aware of this process. So I think it's with the time frame being as it is, it would be beneficial if there is notification that they will have to be recertified, and that they will need to contact Wayne Metro in order for that process to take place. But I am concerned that, will there be some type of extended period allowing persons to be certified in the new year? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough. Mr. Phillips, would you like to make a comment regarding the recertification process and where we are?
Yes, Ms. McClellan had some great questions that I just feel should be addressed immediately. One is that the state of Michigan is the grantee of the funds that are used for the Lifeline program. And so the state does not allow a pre-certification or an early certification on the program. It is just like the current programs that are running for the other utility companies like LaHeap and MEEP. So it has to be done on or after October 1st. We will be sending letters to all current Lifeline enrollees to let them know 30 days in advance that they need to recertify on or after October 1st. So that's the second question I wanted to address. And the third one is that, yes, ma'am.
How do they do it, on or after? Do they call?
We will have specific instructions for all of those current enrollees
Okay,
and how they
they
need
will
to
know exactly.
recertify.
Very
Yes,
good. Thank you.
there will be not only a phone number, but there will also be an email address that they can send their information to and contact Wayne Metro. There will also be a QR code that will be included in the letter, so they can just take a picture of it and it'll send them right to where they need to go. So we've tried to make this as barrier-free as possible to make contact with Wayne Metro for the recertification program. And the last piece is that, yes, we know that there will be a lot of current Lifeline enrollees that will recertify into the program. We are aware that trying to re-enroll or recertify 25,000 plus Lifeline enrollees will not happen overnight. So as soon as Wayne Metro receives the notification from the customer with all of the information that's required to recertify, Wayne Metro will notify us within 24 hours, and we will put a specific code in our billing system to know that that they're working with them to prevent them from having any type of, right. So because there will be some time that it takes to get this done, but it will not prevent a shut off if they do not contact Wayne Metro and let them know that they want to recertify. Effective October 1st, all Lifeline customers are off the program until they recertify. So I just want to make that clear.
Wayne Metro, how would we know that? In terms of their ability to handle the volume of calls that might be coming through.
It's not just calls. They can
Oh,
email,
wouldn't
they'll be
matter,
able to
but
text, there'll be multiple ways that they can contact Wayne Metro
Okay.
to get in touch with them. We've ensured that there's at least 2 to 3 different methods of contact that they'll be able to use so that that doesn't happen.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. I hope that answers your question, Ms. McCullough. Okay, and who's next?
Madam Chair, the next person is Mac Farr. Mac Farr.
Mr. Farr?
Yes.
Sir, please, give us your petition, sir.
Yep. Hello, my name is Mac Farr. I'm the Executive Director of the Villages Community Development Corporation and a resident of Pingree Park. Recently, I spoke at a Board of Water Commissioners meeting in order to touch on a few items. The first is in the situation in connection with the case at the Johns family home at 4265 Seminole. To date, the problems that they have been experiencing at their home with their lateral sewer connection have not been resolved. Additionally, it should be noted that the sewer main line alley has collapsed, and that is likely the cause of the issues that they are facing. The issue at their family home must, I repeat, must be rectified. The department has not met their obligations to the Johns family, and their failure to address the sinkhole from the sewer main in the alley is damaging their lateral connection. Secondly, over the course of the past few weeks, I have reported multiple sites throughout the villages that are in need of repair, mostly in the form of clogged storm drains. Some of these sites have been recurrent issues for up to a decade. On one such site in Seminole, between Gothi and Mac, I reported a clogged storm drain. This case was closed out by DWSD, and since then, it has rained and is still backed up. There are multiple sites throughout the villages that have this issue. I urge the department to do a better job of repairing these locations. We stand ready to help the department identify those storm drains that need repair. In many instances, these broken storm drains have damaged homes, destroyed cars, and rendered some of our roadways unnavigable during heavy rains. Lastly, I want to urge the commissioners to hear our message. There are a few themes in here, both in the comments from the folks in Pingree Park, from Franklin Park, as well as the villages, in addition to the contractor. The first is that we are seeing the same issues over and over and over again. When I lived in Indian Village, there had been storm drains that I personally witnessed flooding for more than a decade. The second item is that it is becoming increasingly clear that you have field crews coming out again and again, doing either the absolute bare minimum or they are not proficient or outright inept. There needs to be deep reforms within the department, particularly in the field crews that fix storm drains and open up sewer lines. It is critical that Detroit has functional drainage infrastructure in order for the whole city to grow. Everything that's happening downtown is great. Michigan Central, the NFL draft, the Hudson site, it's all wonderful. But it's all for naught if DWSD is unable to adequately remove sewage from our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, sir.
Madam Chair, the next person is Christiane Sims.
Christiana Sims?
Yes.
Is that Miss Sims, would you
Ms.
please?
Sims.
Would you please unmute yourself and give us your petition?
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Sims. I live in Joseph Berry subdivision for over 40 years.
Not hearing you very well, hearing you very clearly. Could you speak more into the phone, into the phone?
I'm sorry. Yes, my name is Christiane Sims. I live in the Joseph Berry subdivision for over 43 years now. We have what we affectionately call Lake Fist, that every time we get a big rain, the first set of drains, which about 7 lots down from the corner of Jefferson, we are guaranteed it's going to flood. Part of the issue is that we're also having to intake all the water coming off of Jefferson, which rolls down the street. We also have flooding down at Fisk and Dwight, where the drain is on one side of the street, but all the water pools on the other because of the grading. Parkview has issues as well as Lodge. And so we really need to get these drains cleared out because neighbors can't even get in their driveways because there's so much water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I hope you heard earlier, Mr. Smalley's comments about what we're trying to do.
Did we
Yes, I
get the ad?
did. Thank you so much.
Did we get the address so that we can do?
So can you give us or,
Yes,
Ms.
I'm
Sims,
at,
can you please fill out the form?
yeah, if you don't want to give the address on the phone, please fill out the form so we'll have your contact information.
I'll be glad to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And who else, sir?
Madam Chair, the next person is Tim. It just says Tim.
Tim? Did you want to give us a last name, Tim? But you're online now.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is
Good
Tim
afternoon.
Isles. I live in the West Village. I'm just here to voice my sentiment, I guess, and to echo what Mac Farr had said. I've lived in this neighborhood for 13 years, and we see flooding every time it rains in the same spots. It's on Van Dyke, it's on Agnes, Parker. Crews come out, they do the minimum. Maybe it doesn't flood for one storm, but the next storm it's flooding again. So I just want to say it's definitely a long-term problem here. You know, it's a very popular neighborhood. We have people moving in, but they see how flooded it gets and they, get a little disappointed, I would say. So I just want to let you know that it is a big problem and it's not something that's been fixed for the whole time I've lived here. And I just want to shine a light on it and hopefully we can get some resolution over here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there anyone else?
The next person is Detroit Dar, Detroit DAR.
Detroit Dar, please identify yourself and let us know what you're calling about.
Yes, my name's Elizabeth Findus, and I'm a resident of Indian Village. And I'm calling about Detroit Water and Sewer as a whole. I've tried working with you guys in terms of getting things fixed in Indian Village for over a decade, and I have experienced nothing but silence and ineptness. For what you guys charge for drainage, your department needs to be investigated by the state. We have sinkholes next to Nichols Elementary, which have not ever been fixed. They have cones and horses in them from Detroit Water and Sewer. They've never been dealt with. We have large sinkholes in between Mac and Gotham, between Iroquois and Burns. We have Lake Melancholy, which is right next to Melancholy Park, ironically in front of Nichols Elementary, where it floods, where I've actually seen people who are trying to pick up their children during the day when Nichols has been released and they are driving on the sidewalk. I have reported clogged. I reported 1704, a storm drain that was clogged, that's still active in your system since 2016. I have reported sinkholes in the alley between Iroquois, on Iroquois and Burns from St. Paul to Agnes. We have a sinkhole. We have a missing manhole cover. We have horses and cones, which are now disappeared. I have called repeatedly about the sinkhole behind my home. And when I got to a supervisor, because I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to call me back, I'm told by a representative that that supervisor had left and the information doesn't get passed on to the next person. What is going on? And every month or every quarterly, I'm getting some sort of information about the backup storm drain insurance. That's a total scam. It's outrageous what your department is doing. And on top of that, I had a water main break basically next to the fire hydrant on the corner of St. Paul and Iroquois next to my home in December 2022. I called the summer of 2023 to find out when the restoration was going to be done. And I was told, lady, we have over 1,500 that need to be done. I called this year to find out where I am. They didn't even have a record of it. What are you guys doing? I mean, this is criminal. Absolutely criminal what you guys are doing. And instead of getting sued for the millions of dollars that you pay out, you should be installing backflow valves to each home. It's shame on Detroit Water and Sewer. Really, honestly, shame on Detroit Water and Sewer and anybody who draws a salary from Detroit Water and Sewer that's not doing their job. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and we will certainly have a response.
Madam Chair, the next person is Daisy Jackson.
Daisy Jackson. Welcome, Daisy Jackson. Would you like to make your comment? Are you there, Daisy Jackson? And we're going to assume that Daisy has left us.
Okay. No. I'm
Oh,
here. I'm
okay.
sorry.
Okay,
I'm
thank
a
you.
senior and I'm not all that Texas savvy, so I have to take my time.
I
But I'm
understand. Go
a
ahead.
resident of Detroit. I'm a
Yes, ma'am.
senior. I'm 68 years old. I grew up in the Black Bottom, and I'm also a resident of Island View, which I've been for 53 years. We have floods over our drains from Lafayette and the Boulevard to each block, from Charlevoix to Charlevoix to Vernon to Kercheval. All those drains down there are blocked when it rains and everything. I feel like DSWD should come along and help all residents repair their lead lines, because when y'all implemented that water line, when Detroit has got on board with that water line, y'all cut them off the 3-layer of the water line. The only thing Detroit residents can get is in-home plumbing. When I got that water line over 7 years ago, I had in-home, outside, and flooded. My yard has been dug up twice. I've had a sinkhole from my backyard too, as well, from the alley, that I had to repair out of my pocket through the American Water Insurance. I don't feel like it's right that y'all cut off Detroiters from getting the all 3 services and just only want to give them in-home plumbing. I don't think that's fair. But Island View and my curbs on Field Street from the floods, we have no curbs on Field Street. My address is 2441 Field. And from Field and Verner, between Field and Verner, all the way down to Charlevoix, we have no curbs on Field Street. So I appreciate if someone would come out and look at our residents in my neighborhood to see what can be done about the flooding and everything. And I thank you for taking the time to let me speak.
Thank you very much. Would you repeat your last name again?
Jackson, Daisy Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Okay, you be blessed and safe.
And the same to you.
Madam Chair, the next person is with the phone number ending in 235.
Would you please, if your phone number ends in 235, would you please identify yourself and make your comment?
Yes, my name is Noreen Davis. And my comment, I've lived in my home since 1990, over 30 years. My problem is with my water bill. Now, they straightened it out a year, I don't know how long ago, but what I'm trying to say is it was a $20,000 bill. The meter was on backwards and they took off like $16,000, left me with $5,000. I'm a senior, I live by myself. So how did they figure out this bill was going to be $5,000 in 1 year? I can't pay that. And I've been struggling trying to pay this $5,000 for over like 3 years. And they say they don't see no usage. That's because I keep the water off. I fill up my tub and do what I have to do with personal things and go down there about twice a week and cut it back on. It's ridiculous. I mean, $5,000. And they say, well, at least we took off 16. Well, how are you going to estimate that I use $5,000 worth of water in 1 year? And I'm a single person, barely home. You know, I mean, I live alone, what I'm saying. So I'm trying to see if someone there can help me figure this out or do something with this bill.
We will have someone get back in touch with you, Ms. Davis, to try to explain what is going on and to try to ascertain from you what we need to do to help you resolve your issue. So we will be hearing from the water department. Thank you. Customer service will call you. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have Miko Williams next.
Mr. Williams, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon.
D'Amico,
Can you hear me?
are you there?
Yes, can you hear me? Hold on 1 second. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Oh, great. Thank you, Chairman Blackman. Thank you for running this meeting and for allowing us to speak and get our concerns out. I think a lot of people are, all they're asking is for you to listen to them and to help them in the direction that they came.
That's our
To
goal.
provide
Thank
services.
you. Yes.
Okay, first of all, I want to acknowledge that we sent the memo today
Mhm.
to the Board of Water Commissioners in regards to the past YouTube Board of Water Commissioner meetings that should be uploaded to this YouTube channel of the department's channel, and we haven't heard anything. I know I've heard Brian Peckinpah speak and say that the meetings, and we're happy that the meetings are being broadcasted on YouTube and live streamed, but they need to upload the Board of Water Commissioner subcommittee and the formal meetings from May of 2023 to this date currently on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that you all can find someone in the Department of IT that can upload that previous footage onto the YouTube channel to keep up with the transparency of the department. Also, these meetings should be broadcasted on Channel 10, the city's government channel, for everyone to see and to get information about the water department. And also, when are you guys going to come back to the community? We miss you out here. Please, I forgot to tell you all in your planning calendar during the subcommittee that you all should start planning for community meetings to take place in the community. I also want to speak in regards to the Easy Pay program. I am very happy to hear feedback, positive response, and one from a commercial best friend of mine who owns properties across the city of Detroit say that he was able to get all his properties onto the plan. I'm very happy to hear that people are finally getting help and relief. I do echo the sentiments of Miss Cecily McKellen about the Lifeline Plan constituents, that they should be alerted. I remember me saying back in July or June or July, and we were asking, when will the recertifications happen and how quick will they be occurring? I want to make sure that we inform everyone, including those that have not paid in 90 days, that they need to be recertified, but also to offer help to those persons. We understand the department has no responsibility as they don't hold the purse, but they do have a responsibility with the contract and also the forthright to make sure that Wayne Metro is making sure that those recertifications happen and that everyone is informed and certified. Other than that, I'm just very happy to be in the part of progress. Hydrate Detroit is a partner, and we want to continue to be a partner with the Water and Sewage Department. Thank you, Matthew Phillips, and thank you, Board, and thank you, Executive Director Brown and Smalley, for all the work that you do. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board?
Madam Chair, there are two more people. Three more. Gwen Howard. Ms. Gwen Howard is next.
Ms. Howard? Ms. Howard, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you so much. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chairman
Welcome.
Black. And I'm Gwen Howard. I'm with We the People of Detroit, the Water Peeps Department. I won't be repetitious because Sister McClellan spoke on most of our concerns, but I did have a question because of the customers we service or assist. They got the notice in the mail about the Easy Pay. The ones that were on the 10/30/50 plan, how did you notify them that that plan was ending and that they should apply for the Easy Pay, or did it roll over automatically? Is question number one. Question number two, of the people that are the 30 on your board, I looked at your board and like we said, you have, if he said that they would automatically get a letter in the mail or they would be notified, but it sounded like he said this wouldn't prevent them from being cut off the program if they hadn't certified. Did I understand him correctly, or was that did I hear that wrong?
We'll have Mr. Phillips clarify that when you finished.
And everything else, Sister McClellan had addressed, and that's about it. I'm curious because we had several people that were on the 10/30/50 program, and we know that at the last commission's meeting, you said it was ending, but did they get automatically notified that it was ending? How did that transition take place?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Phillips?
Madam Chair.
And the state of Michigan would, well.
Yes?
You said the state of Michigan is responsible for, the state of Michigan, meaning the Department of Health and Human Services, that part of the state of Michigan is handling the reviews for the Lifeline program?
The state.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Howard, you have quite a few questions. I'll try to go through them quickly. But first of all, this the state of Michigan does not oversee the Lifeline program. The state of Michigan oversees other programs and other grants that are offered through Department of Health and Human Services, the Michigan Public Service Commission. There's other entities that I may not even be aware of, but they do not oversee the Lifeline program. The Lifeline program is in part funded by some of those programs and those grants that are offered by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. As far as the 1030/50 program, all customers that are currently on 1030/50 and signed up for 1030/50, because that's an agreement between that customer and DWSD, those agreements still stay in place. If that resident chooses to leave the 1030/50 program and move into the Easy Pay program, they have an opportunity to do that at any time, but they are not, I don't know if the right way, they are not discontinued from 1030/50. They remain on the program and that benefit still remains in place. I think that's it.
Answer your questions. Ms. Howard? Okay, do we have anyone else who's petitioned the board?
Yes, yes, we do, Madam Chair. The next person is Mimi Olam.
Mimi Olam?
Chief Mimi Olam.
Ms. Olam?
Can you hear me?
All right, would you please give us your concerns?
Yes, I'm very concerned about the criminal aspects of this situation as well. As an Aborigine, I know that most of what is going on should be taken care of by the city. Your policies are against the Constitution that is supposed to protect the citizens. And also considering that this is not reserved land, it is supposed to be supervised by council members such as myself, who are Aborigine and not under the jurisdiction of the United States, but still apply our rights under Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3. So here's the problem, is that although not everyone in 48228 is an Indian, it still affects our people. So you have to complete, or you have to fix everything in that district, because we're not supposed to be enumerated. So if I told you, oh, it's 2 people in this community who need it, then that's enumerating us. You have to fix this entire system. You're supposed to have us in line with you. We're supposed to be sitting at the table with you to make sure that the citizens are protected, and that's not being done. So I'm also going to say to the citizens, you need to get in touch with these Aborigines who are no longer in the system, who are here to protect you and to help you, but also to protect ourselves. If you want to get in contact with me, my number is 248-763-4925, because this is a health concern. And when it becomes a health concern, then it's genocide. And many of us are ready to start reporting this as genocide, because this is your responsibility, and it has always been your responsibility, because Detroit is not reservation land. If you understand what I'm saying, this is not reservation land. So it's up to you to make sure that the people are protected. Again, my number is 248-763-4925. And I hope you get in contact with me, because we need to push these people to honor the Constitution. They're constantly saying that they are democracy, but baby, we need to be under the Republic, because if we don't, they will continually to not take responsibility for what they are doing. People are getting sick and they are dying. Again, this is genocide, and we need to come together to make them fix the problem. I yield.
Thank you very much for your comments. Do we have, who's next?
Madam Chair, Norrell Hemphill.
Ms. Hemphill, welcome. Hemphill?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Attorney Norrell Hemphill. I am an Equal Justice Works Fellow at Great Lakes Environmental Law Center. I have the honor and privilege of working in coalition with We the People of Detroit. And I want to just start off by saying good afternoon to the board and to all of those who work at DWSD that we've been in communication with. I echo the sentiments of the residents. I'm glad that the residents of Detroit are out in great numbers today, online and they're in person. As I've been attending these meetings for about the last 2 years every month, and recently twice a month at both the committee meetings and at the Board of Water Commissioners meetings, and then also continuing to write letters on behalf of the residents of Detroit. We know that we need residents and we need Detroiters to show up in numbers to evidence the things that we say. So I thank you to all of those who have taken time out. And then I want to thank Matthew Phillips for sending over that information, as Mama Cecily said, that will be critical for us to navigate again as we continue to lift the issues brought to us by our community members as we work with community in community and do this grassroots work. It is a little bit, the recertification program is a little bit confusing and alarming. And Matthew Phillips, if you could please provide a little bit of clarification. But from what I heard, it sounds like on October 1st, there will be 0 people of the over 25,000 people who are currently enrolled in Lifeline. It sounds like there will be 0 people enrolled on October 1st. And that's a little bit alarming because we know that it's taken this time since August 1st of 2022 to now to get this number of people enrolled. And we know that early on, neither DWSD nor Wayne Metro had the infrastructure, the people working there to actually process calls. And it looks like, I think it was about 1,000 applications max is what we were able to process per day. So what is the capacity if everybody did call on October 1st to get those people re-enrolled in the Lifeline program? And will there also be any type of amnesty or any time they have between October 1st and when they contact Wayne Metro to be protected from shutoffs? And what happens to residents' bills in that time?
Ms. Hemphill, you have exceeded your time, so let us see if we have a response from the Customer Service Department. Regarding the re-enrollment process. Explain, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not customer service.
The instructions that Mr. Phillip previously described in writing.
Thank you very much. That's a good suggestion. And send it out to, how will they access it? Can they access it online or how will they?
He has my email, Norrell at wethepeopleofdetroit.com.
Madam Chair, we will resend make sure that she sees a copy of the letter that was sent today.
Much.
Yep.
You will receive the information, Ms. Hemphill. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board?
Madam Chair, she was the last public commenter.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Smalley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the common concerns that I heard was about the basement backup protection program, as well as the private sewer lateral repair program. Just to provide clarity, the basement backup protection program which was funded by ARPA money given to us by the city. We had two phases, phase 1 and 2. Phase 1 was $2 million. Phase 2 was $4 million. Those funds have been expended, and so the basement backup protection program is essentially winding down. We're just doing restoration of asphalt, concrete, and grass that was disturbed as part of that. The private sewer lateral repair program is currently identified as a $43 million program. The lead agency is Housing and Redevelopment. We are partnering with them to get the work done. The first phase of that $43 million is $17 million that is targeted for 22 specific neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods are listed on HRD's website. It's another city department. We are looking to and hoping that we can expand beyond those 22 neighborhoods. And in fact, we may be able to even go citywide. But as of right now, it is those 22 neighborhoods. But the intention is to expand it elsewhere.
Customers find out this information.
D's website.
RD.
DetroitMI.gov. And if you look at departments, go to Housing and Redevelopment. It's on their website, along with all the instructions on how to apply, how to take advantage, and who is eligible. Now, I do need to add that there are income limitations for eligibility for that, for working on individual properties, private properties. In addition to the $43 million made available by the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery from HUD, Housing and Urban Development from the federal government, an additional $9 million has been allocated or is being allocated for DWSD to start addressing sinkholes. We heard some customers express their concern today about sinkholes in their alleys. When DWSD has a sinkhole issue, what we do is we go to the site, we put a high-resolution camera into the sewer, we travel up and down the sewer, we look up every individual sewer lateral, and if we see defects, we will send a letter called a fix-it letter to that property. And when we get to the actual location of the sinkhole, we will put fluorescent dye actually into the hole with the high-resolution camera in the sewer to see where the unintended path for water to get into the sewer is. Because that unintended path will carry particles of soil that will eventually cause the sinkhole above. And in the case of Seminole that we heard about today, we've sent that letter back in May of 2024. We are trying to find more money available to fix issues like that because there are a significant number of them all across the city, but they are a private homeowner's responsibility for the private lateral all the way up to and including the point of connection to the public sewer main. So we are submitting FEMA BRIC grants. We are submitting for HMGP grants. We are submitting for HMG grants. We are looking in every nook and cranny to find funding to help our customers fix these private issues.
A concern, Commissioner, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question on this, on the sinkhole, and I ask that because as we look for funding, a lot of the area in our community in Southwest Detroit, since they put in that second bridge, has caused a lot of problems with heavy equipment trailers and trucks coming over and don't have access. As you all know, the streets sometimes don't have two ways, it's just one way. And we've noticed a lot of this area has had a lot of breakage in the grounds, which I really concerned that, you know, the sinkholes could happen more often with all the, I mean, we're talking lots of trucks. One truck hit a whole building because it just wasn't able to turn around or something, and it took out a whole building. But I'm just saying, if there is a way, we could at least look at the new bridge that's caused a real nightmare in our community. I mean, a nightmare. In Southwest Detroit, it is a nightmare, whether you go to Fort Street, whether you go to Verner, or even when you go to Michigan Avenue, especially Livernois. So they've taken a lot of hits, and mostly it's been with redirecting traffic while they build this bridge. But the impact on the community, and specifically on the streets, has been really, really overloading. And I just asked that because as you look for funding, it's Canadian money that actually are providing some money to some of the community that have lost businesses. So I just ask, it doesn't hurt to ask this new funding maybe to touch base, because they've caused a lot of problems in the streets. Just a question. I just thought I'd ask.
We interact regularly with MDOT and BNA and the Gordie Howe Bridge Consortium. They've done, if we can point them to damage that has been done as part of their construction activities, they have been responsive. So two different buckets. The buckets that I'm describing that we're going after to help our customers address their issues in front of their houses or in their alleys is one thing, but we will certainly make sure that any construction activities from the Gordie Howe Bridge project are addressed as part of that project.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Garcia and Mr. Smalley. Okay, we have concluded public comment, and we've concluded responses to public comment. So we're now moving to communications. We have, so I should say public comment is closed. So we're moving to item 2024-162, receipt of correspondence. We have an addition to, in that area, it's item 2024-167, response to We the People, which you have at your places. Yes.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to address the residents of Franklin who visited today. I apologize that I didn't work this in as part of my comments. I'm going to discuss with our engineering team to see if we can do a comprehensive sewer assessment of the entire area. We have looked at our maintenance records from 2017 or 2019 until.
I want the residents to hear this because he's addressing your immediate concern about what's being done. So we want to make sure that you hear what Mr. Smalley has to say. Go ahead, Mr. Smalley.
I'm going to talk to our engineering team to see if we can do a comprehensive neighborhood assessment. We have looked at the maintenance records since 2019, and we have cleaned probably 80% of that sewer since 2019, but we will revisit that. We will make sure that everything is operating the way it should be in short order.
We're on the issue, and you will be hearing from the department. Thank you very much. Next, we were in the middle of communications. Did we vote on anything in?
Madam Chair? Yeah. Madam Chair? Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that we receive and file the correspondence.
Support.
And supported to receive and file correspondence. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by the sign of aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The next item is items from commissioners. Are there any items from commissioners that have not already been addressed? Okay, moving on to unfinished business, we have none. We're now moving to the consent, the approval of the consent agenda. As you can see, there are a number of items there that we have are up for approval that have been thoroughly discussed in committee. Is there any agenda item that anyone on the board wishes to have removed from the consent agenda or has additional questions on? The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, and supported by Commissioner Davis, that we approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by the sign of aye. Motion, those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Let's see, the next item is the director's report. Oh, no, we have new business. I'm sorry. We have new business. Item A, 2024-163. What is the will of the board?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Forte?
move that the Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit Water and Sewerage Department authorizes the director to approve DWSD contract number 66512 with said Network Inc., DBA Promise to provide payment plan support services for a term of 1 year. This is a revenue contract with no payments made to the vendor. The vendor is compensated by retaining 11% of all amounts collected.
Been moved. Is there support? Been properly supported. Any discussion on this item?
Good afternoon, Board Commissioners. Marquesha Welch, Procurement Director. I'll just be giving you an overview and opening of what the contract entails and what it will provide, and then I'll turn it over to Chief of Staff Matthew Phillips, and he's going to give you a little PowerPoint presentation to go more in depth with details for this contract. So as indicated in the reading of the motion, it is a 1-year contract that will provide both outreach and collection services. This contract will support our billing and collections division. Services to be provided include an expansion forms of different various payments such as Cash App, Apple Pay, PayPal, Venmo, different things like that, as well as extensive account notifications such as friendly account reminders via telephone, text messaging, email, and such. Again, as indicated, it is a revenue contract, whereas the vendor will only retain 11% of the collections from delinquent accounts. In addition to that, procurement did advertise this contract for proposals. It was published for 42 days. It only yielded 1 proposal. As a result of receiving a single proposal, DWSD's procurement division, we sent out no bid questionnaires to determine why we did not receive any additional bids. We did receive 1 response, as indicated by that supplier, that there was a similar posting where they seek interest to apply, and so they did not apply for this bid here. This vendor does have current clearances with the City of Detroit and have met all of the criteria for the proposed contract, and so procurement at this time is recommending to the full board to review and approve, and then I'll turn it over to Matt Phillips for him to continue giving you more details for the projects.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
And board members, if I could turn your attention to the screens, it'll be a little bit easier to follow along. I wanted to just provide, Ms. Welch did a fantastic job of explaining our vendor, and what I'd like to focus on are some of the benefits to DWSD and the customer. So if you will bear with me as I'm going to move through a few of the first 2 slides, but I think the point that I want to make is the benefits to our customer is that Promise Pay will offer an immense amount of flexibility to our customers to pay, in this case, their Easy Pay bill. It allows the ability for our customers to pick their payment due date, which is completely different and can be different than their DWSD bill date. And it will be a separate bill from the DWSD monthly bill, which should lessen some confusion. The communication that Promise Pay will provide our customers will be robust and frequent. They provide frequent reminders as to the Easy Pay portion of their bill, as well as their current DWSD bill. And they do that via phone, email, text messages, any way that the customer prefers for them to be communicated with. There'll be a link to a payment portal that also includes text messages to our customers that allows them to pay. So it's going to be offering additional methods of paying your bill on a monthly basis that currently DWSD does not offer. There'll be additional payment options as Ms. Welch provided, which is Venmo, Apple Pay, Cash App, and others. And it will also reduce call wait times for our current DWSD customers because Promise Pay will actually accept and be taking over the Easy Pay calls that come through.
Okay.
Added benefit to DWSD. Our benefit is that the outreach for Easy Pay customers and those with past due balances will be swift and often. They will manage the enrolled customer accounts for Easy Pay going forward as opposed to DWSD collections or customer service team members, which will free up our time. And it'll also provide relief as well and the additional need for new hires. We were estimating somewhere between 50 and 20 additional team members to come on board with DWSD to handle the call volume. And now that call volume will be handled when and if you approve today and the implementation happens approximately 8 weeks from today. Just as some examples of what has happened in other cities, this has come up in prior Easy Pay communications, is what does Promise Pay offer as far as results? And I think this is the impressive part of it, is in the last 12 months, Maryland, which is WSSC Water, has 40,000 Promise Pay plans or Easy Pay plans, as we call them here in Detroit. They have a 90% success rate. That means 90% of the customers that sign up through Promise Pay on their Easy Pay programs they're still on the program today, and they collect over $2 million per month in revenue. Richmond, Virginia has 20,000 Easy Pay plans right now with a 90% success rate, collecting $900,000 per month. The city of Baltimore, in the last 15 months that they've gone live, has a 92% success rate. So again, you start to see the pattern here, 90% and above. They also employed community ambassadors. So Promise Pay is teaching basically in our world in Detroit, it would be district offices about Easy Pay. And they're getting 150 new customers per week, although we're seeing 150 customers per day enrolling in Easy Pay, but who's counting? New Orleans has been using Promise Pay for their enrollments into their similar program of Easy Pay for the last 5 months. They already have 13,000 participants enrolled in the program. They've collected over $5 million, and their customers have committed to paying $26 million in scheduled collections over the next 36 months.
Mr. Phillips, have you had any contact with organizations and gotten any feedback on this plan?
Actually, with all 4 of these cities that are listed, I've spoken to either their chief of staff, their chief customer service officer, or their director about the programs and what have happened with these specific cities.
In particular groups within our city, within DWSD?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Within our department's service area, DWSD service area, have you talked to any particular groups regarding this plan?
Internally with DWSD?
Oh, yeah, internally with DWSD, yes.
Absolutely. As of right now, we've had a weekly meeting every Monday with no less than 20 individuals on that call that represents everything from procurement to finance to customer service, collections, public affairs. The list could go on.
It's from commissioners on this. Did we have a motion?
We do.
We did. Yes. I'm not here today. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of approving this item, please indicate by the sign of aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried, and we look forward to great results on this. Thank you so much.
And board.
Yes, absolutely. Next item on the agenda is 2024-164. What is the will of the board? Oh, I'm sorry, we just did that. The next item is the director's report. Are you going to make
the item?
Other item? When I said that.
You did 163.
I think you talked about it on the.
Okay. We're now on 2024-164.
Chair, we need someone to read it from the book on page 42, please.
The book, we need a motion because this is dealing with finance. 124?
Page 42.
Page 42, I'm sorry.
So Madam Chair, upon the recommendation of Matthew Phillips, Chief of Staff and Customer Service Officer, the Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit Water and Sewerage Department approves amendments to the customer service policy titled DWSD Easy Pay Payment Plan to add the definition of property of interest, to exclude accounts associated with a property of interest from participating in Easy Pay, and to clarify the methods by which customers may enroll in Easy Pay. And go ahead.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this item indicate by the sign of aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. And I'm sure this is going to be very well received. Now, I believe we are at the director's report. And are you going to give that, Mr. Smalley?
A truncated version. I will simply cover the operational portion. We can stop there.
Okay.
Next slide, please. Just real briefly, the mayor, Director Gary Brown, Assistant Administrator Bruno Piggott from EPA, and other dignitaries and Councilman Durhal, all met out on site at a lead service line replacement project celebrating the $5 million grant given to DWSD by EPA called the WIN grant. Allows us to continue our national leading lead service line replacement program. This particular program is targeting small contractors in Detroit, and it was a very positive story. As Detroit is, our goal is to replace 8,000 lead service lines a year, which is more than I think anyone else in the country is doing. Next slide, please. We're in really good shape with fire hydrants. We're below 150, which is less than 0.5%. Next slide. Our running water complaints, we're remaining current with those, resolving most of those within 4 days. Next. Our water main breaks are starting to tail off as the temperature starts to cool a little bit, and we are current with the vast majority fixing those within 4 days as well. Next. Catch basin cleaning and inspection. So far this year, the slide says as of through the end of July, 4,500, we have significantly ramped up our catch basin cleaning efforts this year, but more importantly, the sewer cleaning, because we need to clean the sewers so that when the water gets in the catch basin, it has somewhere to go. So we're doing both of these in conjunction with each other. Our goal is to clean over 8,000 catch basins this year, and we're well on our way to accomplishing that. Next slide. And on the sewer cleaning, this slide is several weeks old. We're at 450 miles of sewer clean so far this year, with a goal to get to 600 miles. We have 2,400 miles of sewer main that's 24 inches and below. So when we hit our 600, we will be cleaning the entire system approximately every 4 to 5 years. There are some sewers that we need to clean more regularly, especially those connected to restaurants, Greektown, where they may not have as good control over their grease as one would hope. Next slide. Madam Chair, I would suggest that we just stop there. We've already had detailed reports from HR and customer service.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smalley. Are there any comments or questions on what Mr. Smalley has shared with us? We want to commend you on the progress you're making, because as you can hear from our customers, this is a hot button issue. And we certainly want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do for the department to be completely functioning in the manner that we want to. Did you have a question?
Madam Chair, I'd like to commend Mr. Smiley and his team.
Your mic on?
I just like to commend his team and their professionalism. I've seen some at work, And I've actually gone up and talked to them, not identifying myself on who I am, just, I'm curious, what are you guys doing? Very professional, very nice. I mean, giving me more information than I thought they would take time to do. So that I'm clear that's coming from the top down. So I just want to commend you. I see all the good work and training that your team's doing. So
I'm sure he's glad to hear that because he gets enough of the other kind of comments. Thank you very much for that. Yes, Commissioner Garcia.
Yes, I ditto on all of that you're saying, because I think it's very important that people know that the residents of the city of Detroit are very they will benefit for the hard work that everybody has done. Sam, Gary, Matthew, all of you. I think that the idea of the lifeline and the idea that they could go forward and maybe not have all these debts to carry and find a solution. And I think that we as commissioners need to thank you all for that solution that you came up for all the residents of our great city. Gracias.
Any additional comments from commissioners? Hearing none, the vice chair has no comments at this time, except that we hope our chair heals quickly and gets back to us very soon. Send him our best wishes. And are there any other matters to come before us at this time? Chair will entertain a motion. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Oh, we moved item, the closed session from our agenda. So the chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Support.
Commissioner Garcia, this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much. And I'm glad it's over. Now, yes.
Grandma got signed up. Oh, wait, that's all. How old is it?
My conversation with her were
Where's she go to school? I didn't know. Love that school. I was just talking to, Jason Tinsley is on the board.
Yes.
But I was just talking to another good friend of mine whose sons go there. And he was in a tizzy because he said it's probably not going to affect your grandson who's coming in, but somehow they're changing the grading structure.
Yeah, they are changing.
So we're an A+. He was going through it, but like you said, midstream, it's interesting if you got a kid that's in his sophomore, junior